Welcome back. Before the break, we showed you what the almanac and the persimmon seeds say will happen this winter.
But we have the real expert on our side. That would be our chief meteorologist, Kevin Leidy. His predictions are based more on science.
Well, Mother Nature's already dealt us our first blast of wintry weather with that snow from yesterday, but are we going to see more of that during the upcoming winter? Let's get into it here. Here's what I take into consideration when putting together a long-range forecast. Things like sea surface temperatures, whether we are in an El Nino or a La Nina pattern, Arctic oscillation. You may know it as another term called the polar vortex, snowpack in Siberia, and even solar activity playing a role. So how about sea surface temperatures over the last few months? Well, they've been above normal along the equator here in the central Pacific and also along the west coast of the United States and the Gulf of Alaska. When you've got warmer than normal sea surface temperatures, that's called an El Nino pattern. We're in it. It's a weak one, but it's going to play a role in our upcoming winter. Here's how. When you've got an El Nino like this, you get the jet stream in this kind of formation. We call it a ridge here in place, and a ridge allows for warmer temperatures to move in. Where at? Well, places like Alaska, the West Coast, California, the deep Southwest. But for us, it's totally opposite. What goes up must come down. What's coming down is the kink in the jet stream that allows for this colder air to move in. We call this the polar jet, okay? And that cold air, well, guess what? It's here right now, and it's because of this. This pattern may set up a lot over the course of our upcoming winter, but we're located here, the Ozarks where the star is. It's going to happen quite a few times, but we're so close on the edge of this that as that jet retreats back to the north, we get this warmer air mass that builds in. And that's when you get those January thaws where you go from like, well, it's 5 degrees today, and a couple days later it's 65 degrees. That's going to happen a few times here. So predominantly pretty cold here, but we'll have those warmer spells moving in. But here's what we've really got to watch out for. There's a secondary jet. So there's the polar jet. Ozarks located here. There's a Pacific jet down here where these storm systems kind of develop and move along here. These storm systems tap into that Gulf moisture, meet up with that cold air in place. If these jets are situated like this, well, that's when we can get some pretty good snows. I feel like a few times this upcoming winter, we're going to have that. So get ready. How about this correlation? Snowpack in Siberia to what our winter is like down here. Yeah, new studies saying that that is something you can really look at. Here's why. So the snow, it's white, right? Okay. So the snow, as the sunshine comes down, reflects off of that snow, and it allows for those temperatures as a result to be a little bit colder, okay? Then you got this cold air mass in place where this snowpack is around. That jet I was talking about then takes that cold air and drives it down across portions of Canada and eventually the northern portion of the United States. So how did this do last year? Well, here we go. End of fall last year, here's your snowpack where the yellow is located here, northern Canada. Quite a bit, right? And we had a cold winter last year. Look at the snowpack at the end of this past fall. Quite a bit more. I'll show it to you again so you can kind of see the difference. Last year's, this year's. And you're going to really notice the changes here in northern Canada. Colder air mass in place. So I think this upcoming winter, you guessed it, is going to be a cold one. Below average temperatures. Possibly 2 to 4 degrees below average. 3.9, that's where we were last year. We were down 3.9 degrees. We're going to be pretty close to that again during the upcoming winter. How about snowfall? That's what everybody wants to know, right? 17 inches is the average for Springfield. Kids, you're going to love it. Above average snowfall. I'm going with 20 to 25 inches of the white stuff for you. Now, that's still a lot, but not as much as last year. We had 32 last year. That was 7th all time in Springfield. Rainfall, below average as a result of the cooler air mass in place. The average is about 11.5. I'm going with about 7 to 10, but here's the problem. I think we're still going to have a cold air mass in place enough to where when we get some warmer temperatures that we may have a little bit of ice we've got to deal with a few times during the upcoming winter. I know that's what you don't want to hear, right? But how about on the flip side of this? Severe weather threat? I think that's going to be below normal, so that's some good news. So how about we break it down for you, recap it, mainly cold, but a few warm spells, below average temperatures, rainfall below average, 7 to 10 inches. We've got snowfall above normal, severe weather chances low, and a moderate chance for a little bit of ice. That was a lot, right? Well, don't worry, KSPR.com, we've got the weather rundown all set up for you. You can check it out in even more detail online right now. And we've also got a live Facebook Q&A event. Pretty cool thing we've never done before, where you can post your questions right now. I'm going to answer them for you right over there in the Weather Center. So go online, KSPR News Facebook, and I'll be over there waiting for you. In the meantime, cold forecast is coming up. We'll talk about how low we're